What's happening, everybody? It's Tom Miller here. Just wanted to really share what an amazing day I had, and I'm going to take this information and do a 2 or 3 part series here, for you. But it just really started off with the question, what are the secrets of success? And in reality, there isn't. I don't believe there's a secret to success. There's a formula to success, and it's not a secret because you can read lots of books and follow other people, and there's all these books about success, and one of the keys to success is just being a good follower, right? But pretty much anything you read or hear about success, or like if you watch a documentary, and they just really talk about a vision for the end, right? Just amazing goal. And so like if it's sports time. I'm a big hockey guy, so we're about to get into the Stanley Cup playoffs if you like ice hockey. But there's this amazing magical place in Toronto, Canada, which is the Hockey Hall of Fame. And you think about, like, what does it take to be Hall of Fame? If that's my end goal, right? To be Hall of Fame, I mean, you're just a well-rounded human being, not just an incredible athlete who had a great, long-lasting career, but you also did amazing things for the community. You could. What would it be like to be in the Hall of Fame of dads, right? I'm a dad of two, and I'm an uncle of 4, and so I want to be a Hall of Fame uncle. I'm going to be a Hall of Fame dad. I want to look down down the road, and I love to be a Hall of Fame grandpa, right, or pop up, whatever they want to call me, because I just think about how my grandfather was so integral in my life, and what I would put him in the Hall of Fame, right? So when you're thinking about success, the first thing you need to be thinking about is, well, what's the end goal? Like, what am I really trying to achieve here? What would ultimate success look like? And that seems obvious, but I could guarantee you ask a lot of people, they don't really have a very clear vision of what they think success is. So it really starts with that. What is it? What's the legacy that I'm trying, to build with my faith? How am I working to be a great member of the community? How am I giving back? How am I being remembered? How am I leaving principles that I believed in, and core values and beliefs in my own kids. So it just starts with there. So if you start with the end in mind, like, what's this end result going to be? So if you're a school leader on this call, if you're a principal on this call, or like a teacher, I mean, you impact tens of thousands of human beings during your life. How do you want to be remembered, right? So maybe journal that out. Take the time to write out, what would a Hall of Fame career be? Okay, it starts with that. Now, to be in the Hall of Fame, I talked about hockey a little bit, right? But baseball used to have these magical numbers for the Hall of Fame. It was 3,000 hits. It was 500 home runs. It was 300 wins as a pitcher, right? So from an athletic point, I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to play 20 years, and if I want to win 300 games, I need to win 15 games per year, right? Or maybe it's about championships. I got to get 2 or 3 World Series, or Stanley Cups, or in the NFL it's the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Like, you just really look at your season by season. Who do I have to be this season? What goals am I looking to achieve this season to have a consistent, long lasting career? Because consistency compounds, right? Year after year, they're just putting up amazing numbers, which eventually leads to this Hall of Fame career. Now, not everything's numbers. Some things are anecdotal. Some things are relational, and so you just really think about, like, what am I trying to achieve this year? What am I trying to achieve this year? Right? So I've got my big Hall of Fame, legacy goals, but then I also have my annual goals. Now, after you've got your annual goals set, okay, what's my framework? And I might not be sure what my framework is, right? And so, you got to find a guide in life. You got to find guide or guides. Like, I have multiple guides to all these pieces. I've got mentors for my professional life. I've got mentors as I run my business, like to understand, marketing. And I think about life changed for me when I joined the John Maxwell Enterprise, when I, became a member of the Maxwell Leadership organization in 2014. So like the first real guru, right, guide in my life that was not, a family member was John Maxwell. And so I started to study John and his leadership principles, and then I started to live out these principles. But then I realized I needed more, so then I needed to find a business mentor, and that's Paul Martinelli, and he has been for the last 7 years, and Paul has helped me in all aspects of my life, to being a better dad, to be a better business owner, to be a better giver and tither in the community. Right. And then I was like, well, you know what? I need to see. So then I got, Mark Tracy. Mark Tracy, he's my former boss, but Mark is a mentor to me with my health and how to be a good, father. I see Mark a lot. I don't see Paul, and I barely see John, right? I only see John maybe once or twice a year in person. Same with Paul, right? So I have different relations, and you have different levels with your guides. So what is it that you're trying to achieve in life? Who are the people that are maybe already achieving that life? Go ask them. Ask them, will you mentor me? And so I'm excited. So, today we had I realized after my last, Maxwell leadership piece, I was like, I'm not spending time, I'm spending a lot of time learning, but I'm not spending a lot of time sitting down with people more successful than me and just asking them questions. And that was one of the keys that what John did to really grow himself and to grow his organizations, and now to be this transformational leader that he is. He has monthly learning lunches. So I set one up for my team. It was with Dr. Brian Setzer. And Brian Setzer is someone I met in 2009 when I was a doctoral student. I was a principal, and Brian had just been hired as the executive director of the North Carolina Virtual Public Schools. And I was just intrigued. He was talking about strategic vision and planning ahead, and I'm like, planning ahead? I've never planned anything. I was like, but I need to know more about this. So I asked Brian if I could, just learn from him, and he set me up with an internship in his organization. And what I learned is I learned that I don't know a lot, right? And this is one thing in leadership I've realized, that the more that I learn about leadership, the more I realize I don't know about leadership. And Brian really opened my eyes to strategic planning and really looking ahead and being a visionary. That was 10 years ago, or longer than that, 15 years ago, almost. So I had lunch with Brian today, and my team, and I brought my team along, and Brian just poured into us all sorts of thoughts and ideas. He's a very high level thinker, so we'll have to unpack a lot of the pieces. But it's such an important strategy in your strategy to make the Hall of Fame, is to surround yourself with people that are way more successful than you, and put yourself in situations where you're asking them questions, and you're gathering this incredible information from them. You're observing them, and then you act, right? You take what they teach you, and then you do something with it, right? So that's the next phase. So I got my Hall of Fame goals, and I got my annual goals. I want to win the Stanley Cup or the World Series every year. And now I've got my mentors, right? I've got my leaders in the industry and all those areas that I want that Hall of Fame life to end, to be. And what they teach you is the framework and the plan. And so this is where a lot of people struggle, is that they're not able to take their big giant ideas and put a framework around it. So if you're one of those people, go find someone else more successful and say, what's your framework? How does it work, for you? And you start to, build that out, right? And it's going to take intensity. Nothing worthwhile was ever created in a state of balance. And so, a lot of people say, oh, I just want balance in my life. Okay, well, you could shoot for balance, but you're not going to really achieve much, because, balance is not going to make that happen for you. Imbalance is going to make that happen for you. Okay, imbalance is going to make that happen. Excuse me, I'm coughing here. You guys got me all excited. I apologize for coughing in a microphone in your ear. That's terrible of me. I'll have to figure out how to edit that. But anyway, okay. So nothing was created in a state of stasis, right? It takes unbalance. So you have to get radical sometimes with your time. If you really want to implement something that works, it's really going to take a lot of your time and mental energy, right? But the long term, right, is I'm working myself out of those 16-hour days, those 14-hour days. So I've got my big Hall of Fame goals. I've broken them down into annual goals. I've got my gurus, and I've got my framework, right? And so now it's really going to take taking that framework and following it day by day by day by day, right? You just keep on. Consistency compounds over time. So this, again, this is where most leaders fails, because they'll try something new only for a couple of weeks. And what it takes is it's going to take, right? You have to have obtainable goals, realistic goals at first, but unrealistic efforts to make these goals a reality. And so there's three things that typically get in the way: fear, habits, and distractions. And I'm going to talk about them in our next session. But so for now, this is, if you want to follow along, this is what you do. You want to just journal out. Get some blank sheets of paper. I got my notebook right here, right? And you're just start writing out every day, like Hall of Fame, like what would world class be? What would Hall of Fame be? Just start, writing out all the aspects of your life that you want, from your relationships to where you live to where you vacation, or maybe my goal is to live where I vacation. That's what I want. I want to wake up every day in the place where I would vacation, right? That's part of my Hall of Fame piece. Like, I don't want to have to go plan a vacation, right? I want to live a vacation. That's the life that I want to live. It's part of my Hall of Fame, writing out. But I just want you to write it out. I want you to journal out all those pieces. Now, once you got that big vision every day for 10 days in a row, you're going to start with a blank sheet of paper, and by 10, you're going to be crystal clear, and you're going to have a great outline. Now from that outline, you're going to start to pull out the individual goals. What are the goals that I need to achieve for each of those areas, right? And so that starts to, and then you prioritize them. Okay, so I've got my big Hall of Fame, vision statements. And I'm going to break those down into smaller goals, right? Seasonal goals that I want to achieve for that year. And then I want you to identify people in your life, right, from all different levels. High level people like John Maxwell, because you can get in front of John Maxwell. You can get in front of people like Paul Martin. You can get into some, you can have some time with some really successful people. To, someone maybe who's in your life more than once a week, right? Who are those people, right? And I want you to write their names down. And so this is going to help you start, building it out. And then so once you write some names down, send them a message. Say, hey, can I get a learning lunch with you, right? Tell them exactly why. Say, hey, I have noticed in your life you are really great at this, and it's something that I want to be better at. Can I get 45 minutes of your time? I'll buy lunch. And you're gonna and then start to write down the questions. What are the questions that you need to ask? So, hope this was helpful. This is the first part of a multiple part series about success, and that there is no secret, but there is a formula, and we're going to be talking about this formula and how you can implement it in your life. So, looking forward to seeing you on the next episode.